Hi, welcome to our studio chats. We're so happy to have you here with us today. Today, we are talking about the power of batch working. This is a hot topic with Laura and I. We have been forced to batch work. Isn't that a good, we're at a point where life, business, everything feels so overwhelming and so many balls in the air and so much going on that truly the only way we can keep it all going is to implement batch working. And that's kind of what we've been talking about. Not even kind of, we have been talking about it every day for the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, we're basically on a Zoom. We're on a Zoom talking about all the things we needed batch work. And we're like, this is a good studio chat. So then we're like, let's just hit record. So we were actually talking about all the things we had to batch work. And we were like, this is because I just know the feeling that I'm going to feel when we get XYZ batch worked. And I'm going to be like, okay, we've batch worked that until March. We don't have to worry about that until March or February, or, like just having that weight off, and it's just on autopilot in the back happening, like things like blog posts, newsletters, studio chats, these kind of things. Like when we have a topic and we can talk about it, we can batch work them so we can get work done faster. When you're in the mind frame of doing something, it actually takes us quite a while to get into that mind frame of like, okay, I'm doing this new task. And so if you just did everything separately each month, it would take you way longer. But once you're in the mind frame of doing something, you may as well do more of it because it's easier. Yeah. You don't have to kind of like go, oh, what am I doing again? Oh, and then get up all the kind of like motivation to do the task, because a lot of these things that we batch work are mostly admin things and are not fun things, right?
Yeah, they're the things that oftentimes we feel resistance to. They're the things that you should be doing, but when life gets busy, kind of fall to the wayside. And exactly what Fleur just said is, when you're in the mode of doing it, when you're in the mode of writing your Instagram captions, it is way easier to keep writing them than when you stop, write an Instagram caption, then go write a newsletter, then make some art, then do whatever it might be. If you can schedule a block of time and batch work, even if you start batch working 3 days at a time or 5 days at a time or 1 month, if you have a goal of, I want to do monthly newsletters, maybe instead of trying to summons that motivation every single month, you are summoning it once, and you can get 3 months worth of newsletters done. And then you have 3 months off, and then you gather all that energy to do the newsletter again, and you do another 3 months of it. And you might find that you need to add some things, like when that newsletter is ready to go out, you might have something new that you want to talk about, but it's way easier to go in and insert that little new snippet than drumming up the motivation to write the whole newsletter.
Yeah, I so need to do that for my Houghton Studio newsletter, because I really feel like that. I have to like drum, it's like just suck it all in to get like the inspiration to like do it. And like, what am I going to talk about this month? Okay, what's happened this month? I just like, I do this update. It's quite a big email of what goes out and just the energy that it takes. But when we can, I so should do that. But we've been batch working in Creative Studio, which is just feeling like I'm getting a little bit lighter. Everything that we batch work, I'm getting like a little bit lighter and lighter. And then I feel like we're going to get to a point where there's going to be more room to create and be creative. And because all of that admin busy work is kind of out of the way for a while, and then we can just like do batch working sessions again in a few months' time. And so it is.
Should we talk about some things that are good to identify batch working for? Some like areas of your business?
Because we've only really just kind of got the ball running with this, right? We've been so busy that we haven't been able to batch work, because you need the time to batch work. And so we've just been on this hamster wheel, and that's what you can be like on a hamster wheel of, actually, I don't even have time to like batch work because I just need this one thing out right now. Or it's kind of like if you get help, like a VA or something, you feel like you don't even have time to teach that person or to hand that stuff over. It just feels faster to do it yourself. And so we've been on that road. We've been in that kind of like, it's just faster if I just quickly do it now, this one thing. But now that we're finding time to batch work these things, I feel so much lighter.
Yes. I think too, like when you're looking in your own business of what maybe you could start to identify to batch work, I think newsletters, things that you're sending out on a regular basis or that you want to be sending out on a regular basis. Social media is a great thing to batch work. Blog posts are a great thing to batch work. Any sort of system that you are repeating over and over and over again in your business, take a look at that. Yeah, scheduling.
So like if you were doing a meeting with someone every month, that you could like just schedule that in the calendar, even if it's just putting it on the calendar, it needs to be on the calendar. You could just batch work that for like 6 months if you know you're going to have that meeting every month.
Yeah.
What's
Another great thing is batch working. Like if you want to show up, I do a lot of process videos, drawing on my Instagram, and I usually will draw a handful of those and then batch work them into social media or into reels or into posts. The same thing when we're doing like product photography for collaborations or for licensing stuff. I work that in batch working too. I take all of those photos and then I sit down and then I batch work a bunch of emails or a bunch of reels, a bunch of content that I can share for ads, I can share for social media, I can share in my newsletter. Instead of saying, oh, I need an image for my newsletter and then editing that image and putting it in my newsletter. And then, oh, I need an image for social media and editing that, doing it all at once. So doing all your editing at once, doing all of that kind of stuff is a great spot to batch work as well.
And in the past, I've batch worked. I don't use mockups as much now, but in the past, I would just go, okay, I've done a new collection, and then I would batch work a whole lot of mockups that I thought might help promote that collection. And then when I needed something, I would just go and I'd be like, oh, that's cute. I'll just use that to help promote it and then put a little link. So that can be helpful as well if you're at that beginning stages, you don't have the email yet, you don't have all these other admin things, and you might have just designed a collection. Just do all that kind of batch working to promote that collection in one hit, and then you'll just be ready to promote it. And it will, even if it's a season like Christmas, you've done the Christmas collection, you batch work that stuff for promotion, and then hopefully next year you can go back into that folder and reuse that stuff that you got to promote it, and you don't have to do it again for that collection next year, because your collection this year for Christmas can be re-promoted next year.
Speaking of that, file prep is a great thing to batch work too. File prep, getting things onto sales sheets, putting things into your portfolio, all of that stuff is great things to batch work. You can even batch work pitching or reaching out emails. You can batch work. Yeah. Am I missing anything? Did you cover it all?
That's a good one. With setting aside, like, okay, on a Monday, I'm going to do some pitch emails. And so I'm just going to clear the emails that have come in, or I'm going to send out at least 3 pitch emails, or even one, just, it could just be one, but one's not really batch working though, is it?
No, but
but yeah, so, well, if you're just starting out, you just need to send one, but you could be like, this is the day, this is the hour that I'm going to do this one thing, and that's like batch working. So you could I'm gonna just do the emails on that in this little time frame, because
well, and I think the nice thing about that, what you were saying, is if you send your initial pitch on Monday at 9 a.m. to all of these companies, the 5 companies, the 10 companies, however many it might be, you can follow up with them on the same day. You can follow up with them a week from now, all at the same time again, and batch work that follow up. And then 3 weeks from then, you can follow up again and batch work all of that follow up, because you don't have emails. One went out on Monday, one went out on Friday, one went out on Wednesday, one went out on Thursday. You're following up at the same time.
Yeah, you just know it's in a week because it's Monday that I hear from that person or whatnot. That's what I do. And because the email thing for me, because a lot of it's quoting and like negotiation and stuff, I just like, I sit on it for ages. And so I really have to have a day that I dedicate to it at least once a week, that I'm going to clear that inbox.
Yeah.
So I batch work it, because it takes me ages to get into the mind frame to do it.
Yes, I can't recommend it enough. You'll be amazed at how much time it frees up in your business if you can start even just batch working one thing and just getting one thing set and going. I think the step once you get stuff batch work, figuring out how you can schedule it. Not everything can be scheduled. Some things still need your manual hit the button or whatever it might be. But if you can batch work and then get it scheduled, so you can truly remove that from your brain, that task where you don't have to think about it. It's not taking up space in there anymore. That is really where you are starting to buy back your time. Not even buy back your time. I don't work, get back your time.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I feel lighter when we just get some stuff, and I'm just like, yay, we don't have to touch that or think about that. It is just, well, yeah. So
anyway, I hope that's helpful. If you're not batch working yet, give it a go. Let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, and take a screenshot if you love this conversation today. We always want to hear what if you have loved it and it's been helpful for you to hear, even if it was just a reminder of like you knew that you needed a batch work and we just gave you that extra push. So yeah, see you later.